City streets become a battleground in many wars, and the buildings turn into targets for bombings. And even though innocent people die, often the official statements explain that the bombs were only dropped on enemy terrorists. Helping to uncover the lies of wars is forensic architecture. Through the process of architectonic recreation, the agency finds evidence of abuse in war zones.
Hi, Mr. Weizman.
Its creator is the Israeli architect Eyal Weizman, who had the idea of examining the streets and buildings as if they were dead bodies.
Think of us like pathologists of a building. You know, sometimes a doctor pathologist would look at a human body and would say, that scratch came from a knife, that came from poison or bullet, etc. Buildings are like mediums of inscription.
How do you proceed with your inquiries?
Imagine a bomb falls in Syria. The minute that happens, hundreds of people would switch on their smartphone and will record that incident from multiple perspectives. In order to tell a story about what happened, you need to sequence those images in time and space. You need to know which one was the first to film, from which direction, etc. And to do that, we have developed a technique called the architectural image complex. That is to say, we build architectural models, so sometimes urban models. Sometimes we'd build the entire city in 3D, and we'd locate all the perspectives in it. And then you can switch each one at a time and follow the story of what has taken place.
In March, the U.S. Army announced that one of its drones killed a group of terrorists in a bombing on an al-Qaeda facility. However, the forensic architecture team proved that the building was, in fact, a mosque, and that dozens of civilians were killed.
We found the actual architect of the building. There were plans, there were photographs, there were all videos during construction of what this place was. We have constructed first a blueprint and then a model. We matched then all the photographs from inside the model so that we can see absolutely precisely that what was targeted was indeed a mosque and that the Americans were lying.
Some people refuse social networks because the lack of privacy and surveillance, and you do the opposite, using these sources to play surveillance on governments.
Yeah. So that's the principle of counter-forensics. That we repurpose all the tools, all the bad tools of states. No, they spy at us from everywhere. We would take those techniques and repurpose them. We'll turn the gaze against the state and we'll use those technologies against them in as much as it's possible.
Forensic architecture receives funds from goldsmiths and from the European Union. It's made up of a team of architects, along with scientists, journalists, and graphic designers who investigate what is invisible even to them. And when there are no images or documents, they resort to the memory of the victims. This is how they recreated the Syrian prison of Sednaya, one of the world's most inaccessible places.
The prison of Sednaya must be one of the worst places on earth. There are very, very few survivors. We've built every room that they have seen. We've reconstructed the sound that they've heard. And slowly, through a process of architectural reconstruction, memories of what happened to those people, memories that were sometimes repressed because they were too painful to be remembered, you could architecture function as a doorway into memory.
At the end of your investigations, you find the truth, or rather just another interpretation of the truth?
There is not another interpretation of the truth. There is a truth. States think that they have monopoly over information in war. So I think that we're living in a situation where truth is a battlefield, and that we have to understand that it's socially and politically produced, and we have to understand that we do not need to evict the field to the lies of state.